go.
And scene.
Day 101.
Is there a funny song about 101?
I don't know.
151. Bacardi 151. Make a little punch. Fruit punch. Know what the kids do?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Good stuff.
So I started making yarn out of plastic bags because I can't find any yarn for my little projects. So this is what it looks like. So it's actually turned out pretty good. Remember we searched for like a week for a rope to do for our laundry, and the answer was right here all the time.
Now we can lasso horses.
But I've been using yarn to make like toys for the kids and stuff. So here's how you do it. So you cut the bag into strips like this, and then you do it with a pin. You can do it with a crochet hook too. But you take one side and you twist it clockwise. Just keep twisting. Pull it a little, stretch it a little, twist. And these are just like bags that we got from like the grocery store, because apparently these are not recyclable. Not that Liberia recycles, because they certainly do not, that I'm aware of. So then you get the other side.
They do burn stuff on the side of the road.
You get another pin. These pins actually work pretty good because you can kind of stick it under there. So you just want to make sure to go clockwise when you're doing this. So, thanks to the couple of YouTube videos over. So I watched a YouTube video on how to do this, and they were like doing a recycling project to make mats for homeless people to sleep on out of this plastic. They call it plarn, plastic yarn. But so you get that really tight like that, and then you take it off of this one and put it on this one. And then once you get that, then you go counterclockwise. Oops. That'd be easier with the pins and the crochet hooks. So once you do that really tight. That is what makes it give that rope look of cord.
Is that how they really make rope, though?
Probably.
Just not with plastic?
Probably on big machines, bigger than my hands.
I don't know what the weight capacity is on that. I just try to hang on.
I mean, I feel like I could pull it really hard and break it, but
No.
like, because you pull it too tight, and then when you get to the end, take these two off, and then you just put your new trash bag piece in like this. So this is either like really resourceful of me, or I have completely lost my freaking mind, and we should call someone. As Jeremy says, should we call someone? That's what he always says when we're like worried about something. Should we call someone? I don't know who that someone would be.
Yeah, there's an expert for everything.
But there you go. And then you start again. So
Crafting 101 by Rachel,
Yeah.
everyone.
I'm very creative, like resourceful person. But anyway, so that like just one trash bag that I cut up made all of this, just so you know. So
So what are
there
you
you
gonna
have
do
it.
with that? What are you gonna do with that when you're finished?
I mean, I'm gonna run out of yarn making toys for the kids, so I'll make toys out of trash. They do that anyway. I'll just make something that's a little more
Toysy.
Yeah, so eventually we're finished today. We're pretty blue. We're still pretty blue about just life in general here in Liberia, because there's no accountability for these kids. There's no help for these kids. U.S. government won't help us. Liberian government won't help us.
Everybody's
And
hands
like,
are tied.
Everybody's hands are tied. And I'm like, So I texted Audrey today, and she had some good insights. Of course, Audrey always has good, encouraging insights. And she said, there's a verse that says, "Truly I tell you, whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven." And to pray against that, and to pray that God will bind up the evil powers that are at work here, and that he will set free or loose the children that need to be set free. So, and I looked today, one of the little bitty dudes that's matched, and his mom and I have become friends. He's usually like, he's 2, and he's running and going all the time, like never stops, never lets me pick him up, never does anything. But today, he had a little different vibe. He was a little tired, and he finally like came over to me. I picked him up, and he fell asleep just on my chest, and he's so sweet. And he's very typical 2-year-old, you know, like he's always trying to test you a little and hitting and throwing things and doing, like, not in a bad way, but in an explorative way. But he finally just like tapped out and was asleep. He probably slept on my chest for like 10 minutes or so before he was back to being 2 again. And it was nice. And I just really felt compelled to just pray for protection over this child. I mean, I feel like he's vulnerable. I feel like he's got a family waiting for him, but he's in limbo, just like our kids are in limbo. And I mean, he says a few words, he runs around, he plays, he does his thing, but like deep down, he's got a void for a family that is waiting for him. And that's the ridiculous part. I saw a really, really heartfelt post of one of the matched moms that's matched with a little boy in the orphanage, and I read it, and it's got a picture of his empty room in the States, and I saw him today too, and I saw him just being himself. You know, he's just in his element, laughing and joking. He's dancing and moving and just always entertaining everyone. And my heart just broke for him too, and like saying a prayer for him, a prayer for release. I mean, it's like they're ensnared in this trap of being orphans. And it's not just Liberia where these kids have a problem. That's just the ones we can see. But every single day that this process takes too long for us makes it less likely that other families will sign up. And if the no families sign up, these kids don't have a shot. They just don't. So it was nice to help them today.
So the good thing was, the guys were there installing the solar panels and the batteries, and it took like 2 men to carry one of the batteries, and we got 4 of them, so that was kind of cool. Yeah,
they had a 400 amp setup for just emergency power if they absolutely have to have it. And it's just there, and it really wasn't doing the job because originally the job was for it to do it, but they don't have a freezer that works. Their freezer stopped working a while back, and so it doesn't even help with that anymore. It just helps with some of the lights. And
so the new setup will have 1,000 extra amps, which would be nice.
Yeah, so if 1,400 is plenty to run everything they need. So water pump.
For me today, like our oldest Liberian daughter, our youngest was at school, so I played like
they get home at different times.
Find the rock in your hand game.
Oh my gosh. Are you the one that started that?
No, she started it.
All the kids started playing
Actually,
it.
I think, no, she was. It was one of the younger ones that started it.
Choose.
And then, so I picked up our oldest Liberian daughter, like, and just held her, like, look how tall you are, you know, and she finally just, like, laid her little head on my shoulder and fell asleep. And I was like, oh, man, I can't sit there and hold her forever. So I found a chair, an Adirondack chair.
Yeah, Adirondack.
Did I say it right?
Almost. You said Adirondack.
You know them comfy porch chairs.
It was so sweet. She slept there for like an hour. Jeremy was like
just
dripping buckets of sweat.
I was like, every breeze that came by, I was like, oh, hallelujah. But
we sat in a different place today because they had a lot of the supplies for the solar
I was like,
panels.
I'm not going to move. She was like going through those, I think, like just development stages, and she just needed a cuddle session.
Yeah, like kids, you'll find that when you adopt kids after their birth, they'll have gaps of development and gaps of attachment where they kind of like, they act like a 2-year-old or they act like a 3-year-old. She was in like a 3-year-old gap today. Not the whole day and not conversationally, but just that need for somebody. Because like my 8-year-old, like my 7-year-old daughter is my 7-year-old American daughter is the same age as my 7-year-old Liberian daughter. And if she were sick or completely exhausted, she may fall asleep on us now, but probably not because she's 7. But like when she was 3, she would. So like that's kind of what you see. So when you adopt a kid after their birth, they have these gaps in development and attachment and like social development that they'll fill in. You just gotta let them fill it in. She won't. I mean, today she seemed kind of like a 3-year-old in some ways, 3 or 4. But that's not how she is. Like the whole day, that's not how she was. But just for that snippet. And so, I mean, if you have more questions about that and you're considering adopting older kids or any kids, like there's, you know. It's a different phenomenon, but it's one you need to be prepared for. But like you may have like a 10-year-old that just wants to play with dolls all day, you know, and that's normal.
When she woke up, she wasn't very chatty or whatever. You know, Some of the kids tried to wake her up. It was a fight to keep her asleep and comfortable. But
yeah, and she may have just been pretending to be asleep. You never know, but she was happy where she was.
That's okay with me. I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
She's good bonding.
And there's no escape for them. Like every day is Groundhog Day. They went to school today. Kids walked home. So the kids come home at different times. So the older kids come home around 2. And then then there's another set of kids that'll come home at 3:30, and then the last set comes home at 4. We've heard the last set is in a study group, so I feel like maybe they're the ones that are struggling.
Nice.
Because you can tell, because one of the kids is because usually all the 6-year-olds come in, but some of them are a little older than 6, but I'm I can tell one of the 6-year-olds came home early, and I'm oh, she's not in the study group.
It just feels though it doesn't matter how high the high is of doing something extraordinary. It's it's still this weight of the weight of the weight. It's
yeah.
It just drags
the
weight
weight
on
of
your
the
body.
weight.
It's the drags on your body getting out of bed, coming down the stairs. It's just it just never goes away.
Yeah, it's an oppression here. I feel like we're under spiritual attack, spiritual type of warfare over these kids. There's a lot of evil powers trying to derail this adoption, and maybe the evil of the world won't derail our adoption, but I worry about the families that will decide not to come behind us because of this.
Yeah. It's even that weight, even the bumps on the road are frustrating to me. It's I have no patience for anything. It's
right.
Another bump. I'm so sick of this.
Yeah.
It's just a weird feeling to be surrounded with all that negativity.
Well, and it's exhausting because there's nothing we can do, and we constantly are asking. We were talking to Carrie today. Is there something? What we always are second guessing, our decision to be here or not be here, And now Jeremy and I, we've been here for 2 months. We're looking at definitely being here for 3 months, and we really, if we could stay for another 3 months, we have some grant money that's waiting for us whenever we get custody of our kids that we can have released, and that'll get us through the second 3 months. But after the next 3 or 4 weeks, we can't get that grant money until we have custody of our kids. So if we don't get custody of them in the next 3 weeks, then we're going to have to make some serious financial decisions about how we're going to survive here longer. So we've either got to rent out our house or talk to our kids about that today. One of us has got to find a way to work from home from Africa that's sustainable. Both of us will all have to exit the country and come back at some point at the 180-day mark so that we can keep our visas. And then if we need to stay beyond a year, we've got to look at getting different documentation, which we don't think we'll have to stay that long, but we're getting to that point where we, in the next 30 days, we have to figure out how we're going to pay our bills at home and our bills here and not abandon our kids. So that's
being a grown
thing.
up stinks.
Yeah, and it's still more expensive for us to fly home. If we take our entire family home and we have to come back, even if we only came back, even if only one of us came back, it's still, we both have to come back for some parts of it, but it's still not financially worth it, So those are tough decisions that we're having to make, and we're, and that's the thing, in the orphanage is having to make tough decisions, how do they pay their lease for the next year? Their lease is $9,600 for the whole year, which comes down to about $26 a day. So, and then I had a dear friend of mine send me money for that, to help with the lease. And I'm this could cover a little bit more than a day. So, if you guys want to send $30 to cover a day, if you want to buy the kids a day at that orphanage while we continue to wait. Because if the throughput opens, then these problems go away. Because the financial structure and the throughput structure process for adoptions does support these kids in transition. So, but if they're not transitioning, then they're not supported.
Yes.
Your water overflowing?
Not yet.
So yeah. So we're kind of discouraged.
Yes.
But we think it'll I don't know, we don't know what'll happen.
I didn't see anything funny today, did you?
I was trying to tell the kids not to eat gravel after they were playing the rock game.
I did have to tell one of them to get a rock out of their mouth too. It's don't do that.
Don't put rocks. This is gravel. They have dogs. They have a couple dogs there.
Ugh.
Puppies. I'm gross. Yeah, they have 4 puppies. We don't know if the puppies are gonna make it or not, but they have 4 puppies. Try not to let our kids bond too much with the puppies.
Yeah.
They had a puppy, And then one of them, the mama dog, like, didn't like it or something, so it didn't make it in the cut, and he died.
Doggy went to heaven.
But then that was because we didn't know the mama dog was about to have puppies, but she did. I don't think anybody really knew, did they?
There's a whole movie about that.
I don't know why you would think having a boy dog and a girl dog together under the same roof would mean that they would not have puppies.
I would say with 100% certainty that was never considered.
Just cute little puppies. Fertile.
So anyway,
fertility is not an issue here.
This was kind of fun. There's a missionary couple that was here for 10 years, actually.
Yeah.
And they stayed last night in Tropicana, so I got to talk to the husband a little bit today. That was good. It's fun to pick his brain a little bit. He's 10, he's 31, so he's a bit younger than us, a decade or so.
A little baby.
Not the age
they have 3 kids.
But they're heading back home Friday to North Carolina, so I wish them all the best.
Yeah, they set up a construction company here that's thriving, which is good.
Really teaching.
You think about missionary work always as being people talking about, like, follow Jesus and all that, but it's not just that. It's like projects to, you don't want to just. There's an idea of, like, when helping hurts people, like, if you just give and don't teach how to sustain or stand on your own 2 feet, and you don't enter into partnerships with people that are in poverty versus just giving them things, it's not sustainable. And it doesn't make a difference. But if you, like, come here with the idea of let's start a company and teach them to run it and then turn it over to them in 10 years, like, it's got 150 employees and it's done $1 million deals. So it's doing well.
Over $2 million worth of business last year. So
really so they're ready.
Teaching people to fish for sure.
Yes, and that's what you should do. You shouldn't just. I mean, there's a time for charity, yes, and but capitalism always wins. And that's always been my big thing is, like, I love charity. I want to be charitable at every opportunity I can get, but, like, capitalism is better. Teach someone to make something of themselves. Teach them a trade that they can do. Because when helping hurts occurs when you just give things and don't teach them how to use it or teach them how to get it themselves. Like, teaching someone to fish versus just giving them a fish. Yeah, that's the same idea, but on a grander scale. And in the name of the purpose of Christianity and biblical principles is certainly the right way to do it. So when you're dealing with kids that are orphans, little kids, they can't do much for themselves but try to survive. And that's enough work for them for today.
Yeah.
But
you and I could go get our driver's license. I might mix up today. It'll be fun.
Our Liberian driver's license. I think we have to have citizenship for that, don't we?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I think you just have to have a U.S. valid license, I think. You don't have to take a test. You just pay like $35.
Well, the problem too...
Surprise!
Yeah, it's not hard. Well, Nelson said if we went with him, they probably wouldn't even make us take a test.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We put his house as our permanent address.
Although I do think I should have to at least drive for 30 minutes in Liberian traffic before they give me a driver's license here. I think that should be my rite of passage, and I can do it.
Watch out.
Maybe my frustrations would land in a better place. So...
Yes.
We got a better deal at the Tropicana for the next 3 weeks. The guy here was very gracious and nice. I think we mentioned that yesterday, but he was helpful.
Yeah, it was nice.
He's glad
to keep us.
Tropicana's done a good job with us.
It's a win-win for them and a win for us.
Yes.
I read the art of the deal before I went and talked to him. I'm just kidding.
I was surprised. I wasn't needing you to negotiate. Jeremy never negotiates. He can't buy anything. Can't buy a house, can't buy a car, can't buy anything.
I sat there. I sat there, and I think I did great. And the manager went and talked to him, and then she came back and showed me the numbers, and I gave her the nod, like, that'll work for me.
In the history of our marriage, Jeremy's like, I want this, but I can't talk to them. Please go talk to them for us. Get a good deal. Come back with a car. Yeah. Good luck. Yeah, he hates it. But you did good. You're growing.
I am, as a person.
So, all right. That's all I got. Day 101.
Now we got to do dishes and filter some water and cook.
Laundry.
And do laundry. Maybe we'll find a movie on, pass the day. I love you.
I love you.